Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. I am Sam Spurs for Life. This is your Paxton Road TV reaction show. For the game that's just finished, Burnley 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0 at Turf Moor in the Premier League. From the highs to the lows, depths to despair, the highs to the lows, as we always do with Spurs. Tottenham's given another results with team. I don't know. Expect the unexpected from Tottenham. But before we get into the streamer, firstly, like, subscribe, share, comment. Make sure you hit that like button. Watching the stream live with us, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, share this content around all your friends, all the Tottenham friends, even ones that are not Spurs supporters. I'm sure there's a few Gooner fans that might want to see this stream tonight. Also, put your comments in the comment section below, and we'll attempt to put everything on the screen. I'm joined in the house. Paxton Road Specials, Darius 3K, Sid Spurs, Deji Spurs, and Sean Hurl. Good evening, gentlemen. What can we say? What can we say? I'm sat here. To be brutally honest, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise because we always have to caveat everything from the previous game with it's Dr. Spurs. Always expect the unexpected. We didn't expect what we got on Saturday, and I didn't expect what we got tonight, but in a funny sort of way, yeah, you can kind of see it. Burnley have a certain way of playing. We need to be able to play without the ball. We need to be able, we need to play with the ball. We need to be able to break teams down, but also match the same level of intensity as Burnley had. All they did was this matched us. We've seen this before. We've seen this with the Wolves. We've seen this with the South. I thought we kind of got away with it, looking at how we played against Manchester City again away from home. A team that presses us. I know Manchester City are, very aggressive on the press and leave more spaces than what Burnley did. Burnley had a game plan. They played deep, but as soon as we come into that mid-block area, they're on you. They're 4-4-2. They had a 5-3-2 in defensive shape, so they were always going to make things difficult. We can't bloody cross. None of our wing backs can cross. It's an absolute travesty with the crossing from wide areas. And we got what we deserved. I think we literally got what we deserved. The stats will show that we got what we deserved. And how can we go anywhere without consistency? Consistency is the key to any football team, and we can't put two results together. We can't put two results together after the high. Do you know what I'm saying? After the high of Saturday, guys, when we was all sat here from Saturday onwards, just like smiling with smiles on our face, and then we have this again. It's like Conte, the hair that he got transplanted in bloody Turkey, he must be pulling it out now because I can't understand why. Darius, talk to me. What did you think of the game? What did you think of the performance, the result? As I said, I was saying yesterday, was on the stream yesterday, first goal was always going to be important. If Burnley get it, and if they get it quite late on, which they did, it's almost impossible to get the game. We're never going to win that game, but potentially could have drawn. But it's made so much more difficult with a team that hasn't conceded many goals. As we looked at yesterday, they've conceded 2 goals in the last 5 games or whatever it was. And yeah, Darius, what's your thoughts?
It's kind of hard to watch the game in the first place anyway, since it wasn't on TV. From what I caught and what I watched, there's only really a couple of things that I can really say. I'm annoyed. I'm really annoyed that we lost to 18th place Burnley, who have only won 3 games now in the league. But at the same time, I'm not surprised. I've realized now that, and this is not a knock on Conte before I say this, by the way, I am more than happy with Conte being here. I'm more than happy with what he's done. But Conte ball does not work against teams like Burnley, or we don't have the personnel for Conte ball to work against teams like Burnley. It seems like he needs a team to sort of be on the front foot and pressing him to actually allow that space to open up. Because when we sort of play that one-touch football, the way that we see us play, when you have a team like Burnley who are just going to sort of flood those spaces and stop it from really happening deep in their half, you can't really play that sort of football. So it opened up in the second half, and you saw that we improved because Burnley sort of went for a little bit more. But that's only because, like I said, they opened up, they sort of started to press a little bit more. When the team drops off and holds their line, Conte ball is a very difficult thing to do when you don't have midfielders that can break lines, like we said, and you don't have sort of a lot of creativity and goals throughout the team. So it's difficult for me to sort of say, oh, it's not Conte's fault because of the way that we played. But then again, I look at the personnel and it's like, can't really blame the guy. When you look at the midfield, like you said, when Winks comes on, there's no hope whatsoever. I keep saying to myself, was January a hindrance or a benefit for us? I still want to believe it is a benefit because of the players that we lost. But again, when you have to bring on Winks, I'd rather bring on Ndombele and Lo Celso than Winks. So it's difficult. It's just difficult. And then the only other thing is, I think that the formation isn't going to work with the fullbacks that we've got, especially the right wing backs. If we're going to play this formation and the way that Conte plays, you need to get as much creativity and quality from those fullbacks, because that's where that creativity comes from. It's not necessarily the centre mids that do all of the creating of the chances. So when you have somebody like Emerson, who, again, I don't really rate Emerson that much. I haven't got the time for him to sort of get better anymore. I just think that he's never going to improve his crossing to the level that you need for a wing back of Conte's quality. And that, to me, is just fundamental within his ability. He's not going to be able to become an amazing crosser. You need to get somebody in who's going to fit the system perfectly and put in balls in the box. Like our left side works, but our right side, it hinders our whole team. And the only other thing I can suggest, other than going out and buy a right wing back, which you can't now because there's no market, is to change the formation. And I honestly think that 4 at the back might be a better option, and it might be something to consider, because the wing backs that we've got, we can't play this formation. There's not enough creativity from those players to be able to play a 3-4-3, because you need everything from those wingers. You need balls in the box, you need potentially goals, you need a lot, and they're just not bringing it. So it's difficult. I don't really know who to blame. I'm not surprised, I'm not shocked, but I am annoyed. So I guess you have to kind of move on and look at the Everton game and think you have to take points from Everton, who are probably the worst team in the league at the moment. So
this is but again, we're looking now. Again, we go from Saturday, and I was looking forward to all these games. You know, you look at Leeds, and I thought after Saturday, the way that Leeds play, they're was predictable in a sense as Man City are predictable in the way they play. So you can plan for that. Burnley, again, you know what they're going to do. You know what they play for. This is what I don't understand. Why haven't we got players in that team that can deal with crosses, deal with heading? I know Romero got caught out in that one, and he's probably one of the better players in the year. But again, if you've got players like Burnley who live for them crosses, you need that aerial ability. So why not have someone like Joe? I still don't know why Joe Rodon's not playing. I don't get it. I just don't get it, because we need to have an alternative in this defense, because the way we're playing at the moment, one injury to Romero or to Dyer is going to be a serious problem for us. You know, a real serious problem. Deji, terrible result. I'm not sure what you think of the performance. Talk to me about the game itself.
I mean, as you can probably see from my facial expression, I'm totally demoralized and morosed here. I think the first thing I want to say is that is it me, or sometimes these managers, especially on the continent, they lack a little bit of, I think they lack cultural competency. And I'll explain what I mean. Against the kind of Man Cities, the Liverpools of this world, I think you play the Bentacurs, the Dejans, you know, because we know that we're going to get the high press. They're going to be pressing us, and we can hit teams on the counter. When you're playing the likes of Burnley, Bolton, you know what you're going to get. These guys have not acclimatized to the British game of football. But why are we starting them for a game against Burnley? It's wet, it's windy, it's difficult, it's ugly, it's dirty, it's all of the above. And then we play these new guys. They struggled, first and foremost. I want to put it out there. Bentancur and Kulusevski struggled. Why didn't we start Lucas Moura for a game like this? He knows what to expect. You know what Burnley are going to do. Deep defense. We're going to have a lot of the ball, and we're going to struggle to break down. The other thing that pisses me off is that these guys are supposedly on 70 grand a week plus. And over the last 4 years, they still haven't worked out to get past the defensive lineup. Why haven't, I mean, so what you're telling me is that our team we can only do counter-attacking football. I was looking at the game today and I knew we weren't going to score. We can't have possession of the ball. So much so that now we're losing to the likes of Southampton and Wolves. So for me, it's a dark day. It's a dark day. That thing that happened on the weekend, that there was a lottery win against Man City. There's me thinking we turned the tide. No, it wasn't. It's financial advice. Somebody won the lottery in the group playing against Man City. Let's just be honest, guys. We've been fighting for this club all year. the way I've been cussing Arsenal fans, I've been cussing Villa fans, I've been cussing Leicester fans throughout the year with pumping my chest. Tottenham is crap. Tottenham is rubbish. I've said it here live and direct. Until we get 5 new signings, I think if we get a 3 point, Conte said it a couple of weeks ago, we will be lucky to get 3 points any game. And the proof is in the pudding. Since he said that, we picked up 3 lucky points against Man City. Guys, it's depressing. I'm sorry to say, but our beloved Tottenham Hotspur is just not up to it.
You're right, though. You're right. The 2 different styles of playing. You know, you have to be able to play against a team with a low to mid block. You've got to be able to apply a way of playing that's not just a counter-attacking style, trying to, you know what I mean? Because when we were very direct against Manchester City, but not direct as in long balls over the top, it was direct in terms of balls from the defense through into the middle, through to the front. Now, if you watch, because of the way City played, they leave you spaces. So if you get past their first press, you're onto them. The difference now is they got into a defensive shape, and this is Burnley. They got into a 5-3-2 defensive shape. Brilliant, because it means you can't get out wide to cross because then we didn't create any overloads wide. Centrally, they've got numbers in there because they've got a 3 and 2 in front, so you can't play through them. So what do you have to do? You have to keep the ball comfortably and try and break lines. You have to have players that are going to commit plays. Hence the reason for Lucas Moura, if he's in that position, he's going to run at your back 4 or your back 5, whatever he's got, and at least create some carnage. Maybe get some free kicks in areas of the pitch where, you know, they can be hurt. But nobody did that today. And as I said, Bentancur, once he had that slight, you know, pull, I knew you weren't going to be able to come out for the second half because you don't want to be taking chances with him. And he was more the box to box that we had. He was more, at least the energy to be able to get around the pitch. Too much. It was sideways again. We lacked ideas about how can we beat this Burnley team that's very rigid in what they do. Organisation. Sid, what did you want? What could Conte have done differently in terms of the personnel, in terms of the way that they perform? Because again, very chalk and cheese performance from Saturday.
You know what? I think going off Saturday's result, the team that he picked probably was his best option because he's seen them do a job, right, against Man City. And as much as I agree with what Deji's saying as well about Bentancur and Kulu, because to be fair, first 20-25 minutes, I didn't even know Kulu was playing. But that's the team that beat Man City at the weekend, so you've got to go with it because there was no other options available. Apparently, Harvey White was on the bench. The team sheet was given out, and then he got replaced by Scarlett. So something must have happened for him to be taken out. So that is the team that he had. And I hear what you're saying, Deji. You're going to Burnley on a Wednesday night in windy, rainy conditions. Them two have probably not witnessed anything like this, but Conte had no other option. There was nobody else there that he could have played. I see you said about Moura. I can understand that. But even when Moura came on, that first touch, I think when the ball was played to him, it was like you're playing pinball because it hit him and he just ricocheted about 10 yards back into Burnley's half, into our half. And I'm like, wow, is this where it's going to go? But you know what? I said to you guys a couple of weeks ago, I think on Sam, when we said the next 3 games predictions, and I did say you will get beat by Burnley because Liverpool, prime example, they played Liverpool off the park. They had more shots on goal than Liverpool did. But when it mattered, Liverpool won the game because they've got the players that turned up in the last 10, 15 minutes and won the game. Unfortunately for Spurs, we don't have that. Son and Kane misfiring today. I think there was that one instance, was it in the first half when Son went through and he could have played Kane in. And you knew from that moment that it ain't going to happen because that was a simple ball to Son and to Kane. Kane puts it in the back of the net. So it's, you know, it's like everyone's saying on the comments, it's Burnley away. That Man City game, I think Jordy said it as well. It was a free hit, weren't it? Basically. And a lot of Spurs fans went into this game thinking, yes, we've beaten the champions, but it's so typical, isn't it? Top to Tottenham. You can beat the team that's at the top, but the team that you need to beat, you struggle. And to be fair, they deserve the points.
And this is what I'm saying. And this is the problem for Conte, because he would look at tonight and think, what's good, because he hates losing anyway. But to lose to I don't think this kind of computes. A team that's in 18th place, 19th place, wherever they are. If that was Sierra or wherever he would have been, he would have not even. He probably would have dismissed that. They're not going to be able to. So he's again, this comment here from Simon Stevens, it resonates and makes a lot of sense to me. I don't want to sound critical of Conte, but we play the same style and tactics every game. Perhaps he's been out of the Premier League for too long. Serie A is a tactical league where countering works. So again, I'm not saying that Conte doesn't know what he's doing. Obviously, that's not the case. He's an elite manager. But there was sometimes I just think, because early on you can see, if Burnley just keep their shape and all they can do is defend, they can defend crosses. We can't do anything from set pieces anyway. We don't seem to be able to cross. So they know, right, let them have the ball out wide. It's fine, even if they cross, because they can't cross anyway. But even if they do cross, they're unlikely to score. So again, tactically, they know how to play against us. They had enough players in the midfield that because of R2, and again, it worked on Saturday because Manchester City gave us the space because they're so high at pressing that they play a forward line and a midfield line. So you beat two lines by playing a through ball. It's not the same with Burnley when you've got a mid and a low block. It's a completely different game. Possession-wise, we'll see the possession-wise. I'm going to show the stats in a minute. But just wanted to get Sean's thoughts before we have a sort of look at some of the numbers, because the numbers again, it's not good. But this is why we can't get too high with Spurs, you know? We can't then think, yay. And Sean mentioned that. He said, forget about Saturday. It's all about tonight. And he is right. So Sean, tell me about your thoughts about tonight's game.
I don't think I've really got much to add to what the guys have said. It's just indicative of our season this year. It's indicative of Spurs for the last 4 years. We win games that we don't expect to. We turn up at these games and just don't have an answer for a mid-low block. Again, I don't know what Conte's substitutions brought to the game today. And I think Sid mentioned it. Mora's first touch was, oh my God.
Sean, you've been saying it for a long time now, though, Sean. And the thing is, I think it's his pace that makes him look like he can actually recover that ball, but his touch is actually terrible. It's just a terrible touch.
For a Brazilian player, Brazil is the technical capital of the soccer world. And he is, as I say, he's under the Trades Description Act of Brazilian footballer. He needs to be bloody prosecuted, because that was a perfect move. There was some incredible one-touch passes. It comes to Mora, bing, rubber shins again. I think I see people as per usual jumping on Winks' back, but to be fair, I don't think it was on him. He actually looked quite progressive in the second half, and I thought we created more in the second half than we did in the first, even with the control of Bentancur. And Bentancur was a big loss. I didn't want Winks to play tonight because that's not a game for him.
Yeah.
It's not a game for him in a 2. It's not a game for him on a wet, windy night in Burnley. But I don't think it's on Winks. So lay off the number 8 tonight. But no, Mora.
It's not his fault. It's definitely not his fault.
It's definitely not his fault. And then you take Sessegnon off, and you replace him with Bergwijn, and you've got Reguilón sitting on the bench. And to be honest, I'm starting to think, where is Sessegnon going? Because the number of times I was expected to push it past the fullback and run onto it just didn't happen.
Doesn't happen, yeah.
It doesn't happen, and I wonder whether those hamstrings have just.
Do you think it's down to sort of too much tactical sort of information being given to him? Because when he was at Fulham, he was almost given a free role, or not given a free role, but he was allowed to do whatever he wanted on that left wing, because you knew that Sessegnon would be able to beat a man, put a ball in the box, beat a man, score. Do you think he feels like Conte, if he tries to do something maybe a little bit out, almost like I don't want to say restraining, because that sounds kind of negative, but you know that Conte has a very, very sort of specific way he wants attacks to be built up. Do you think that Sessegnon would rather just have that fluidity of just getting the ball and beating a man and sort of doing it his own way?
When he saw him at Fulham, he seemed to be able to do that, push it past the player, chase it, and get away from his mammy. But I don't know whether it's, as you say, it's restricted. It's just again, it's my eyes. I'm watching on the TV. No doubt the statisticians will pull me apart. But I didn't
Look,
think.
we're gonna.
Oh, they can't pull you apart, Sean.
Yeah,
No.
the stats that's not good reading tonight, lads. They're not good reading. But just on that, again, the way that these players are, we lack leadership. We lack leadership. Well, and I say that, I mean that there's no players that will just be off the cuff. You know, if a game's not going well, you want players, experienced players, to say, right, hold on a minute. I know we've got a game plan, but I might just do something a little bit different. I've been told by Conte to play the threaded ball through, but I can't. It's not working. I've been told.
I just don't think we've got anybody like that quality
We
wise.
ain't got nobody. You know what I mean? Harry Kane played the best cross today that I saw, and he's trying to cross from the right hand. He should be in the box on the end of his own crosses, and he's the best crosser. So we've got nobody that can deliver from that right hand, not even the left hand side, but the right hand side's terrible. Moore never could cross anyway. We know what he was like. We've not had Kulusevski, because he's playing that wing back role in the second half or towards the latter part of the second half. He's left footed. So on that right hand side, you know what he's going to do. He's going to cut back on side on his left. The moment he did go down the right, he can only just chip it up. It's going to be a chip up. It's not going to be a whip ball. You know, I'm not saying that we should have gone for Kieran Trippier, but someone like
You know what? Just on Kulusevski, he's all right in that position though. As I didn't actually mind him as a right wing back because
he's all right. But
a specialty of his is that bending that. What I really liked is the way he bends the ball and shoots. If you give him that, because the amount of space that our wing backs have, that's what annoys me so much about our wing backs. The system that Conte plays allows our wing backs to have so much space. If you were just half decent at crossing, do you know how many chances we'd actually be able to create just from those wing backs? I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to blame the wing backs for the lack of sort of creativity. What I'm saying,
blame them.
They just can't.
People are saying that I'm blaming Emerson, but it's not Emerson's fault. It's not Emerson's fault.
No, I'm blaming Emerson. Stay out on the training ground for 2 hours.
But sometimes there's certain abilities, and I think crossing is one of those things where I think some certain players you could practice crossing 50 times a day, 100 times a day. I don't think Emerson's ever going to become a good crosser. Whereas you have somebody like Dwight McNeil. If you look at Dwight McNeil, he could put a ball in the box. Kieran Trippier will always be able to put a ball in the box, and he may not be a better player necessarily than Sessegnon or even Emerson, for example. But you just Ward-Prowse, another perfect example. He will change a game on its head. He might not be the most technical player, but you know what? If you put a ball in, if you give Ward-Prowse a space on the right,
but Darren, sorry, Deji. But sorry, just on that point, Darren, I'm not. I can understand. I can understand about the crossing thing. When you're under pressure, crossing is very difficult. But I've seen players have time and space.
It's easy.
One touch set and cross.
I can cross the ball.
I don't care who you are. If you're a professional footballer, if you've got time,
that's what I'm trying to say,
space,
Sam. I just don't think he will ever be able to cross. That's the point I'm
I
trying
can
to make.
I can cross the ball, and I don't train.
But how many times did our wing backs get the ball today and had the time to take a cross? And they dilly-dally, and then they just do stupidness. Yeah, exactly.
It's all the time, man.
Conte had Ivan Perisic and Hakimi on his wings at Inter. They are two of the best crossers in European football, to be honest with you. That's why they were so good going forward. That's why Lukaku and Martinez always had opportunities, because their fullbacks were basically the creative hub of their team. And you ain't going to be able to play 3-4-3 if your fullbacks can't do anything creatively. So he's either got to change the formation, or I don't know what else he can do, because the window's done. We
just got to hold tight.
We got to hold tight this season, pretty much.
You know what? Right now, at Tottenham Hotspur, Storm Eunice is just running through the stadium right now. So every player, every manager, every supporter, we just got to hold the pole and get into your garden, hold your shed, hold the fences, and just ride that bloody Storm Eunice. That's really what we got to do. This season is done. And you know what? I look at just basic things. I know we've got a lot of tacticians on Paxton Road. We're talking about formation. We talk about this. Mate, I look at Wolves, and I'm looking at Southampton, and I'm looking at them, and Crystal Palace, and I say, their players have got more grit than our players. Look at Neves. Do we have a Neves in our midfield? No,
Gallagher.
Do we have a Gallagher? Do we have a Ward-Prowse? And also, why not? Why don't we have players who, even if we're having a bad day, we can just get down and dirty and get the ball game by the scruff of the neck? That's what Burnley did today. They're not exactly what I said. At one moment, they had that guy, McNeil, or whatever, doing little turns.
Did you see that?
Weghorst was fantastic.
We're too soft. Tottenham is soft. Let's be honest. The players, let's be real. Even Son and Kane, as good as they are, they're soft. What I want now from going forward, I want lions. Yeah? People who want to put their body on the line. We don't have that at Tottenham Hotspur. And in the Premier League, if you don't have at least 5 of your 11 who are ready to put their body on the line, you'll get what you're going to get. The other soft team in the Premier League right now is Leicester City. And look at them.
That's very true.
You want players in the eyes of the manager. If you look at the manager on the sideline, and I know Conte, has been accused of being a bit over the top, but no, that's desire, that's passion. He don't like.
He wants to win,
and he shows that by his celebrations. He shows that in his like trying to corral the team. But he must just think to himself, what can I do? And I know there's some tactical things that I'm trying to put on him. But what I'm saying is, you can't do anything about players having heart. You can't give players heart. It's like a boxer. You can't give a boxer heart. He's either got it or he don't have it. You know what I mean? You don't give. You can train them. You can do all the rest of it, but you don't give them heart. You either have it or you don't. Not enough of our players, when it gets dirty, like you were saying, Deji, just ain't got that. You know what? I'm going to dig myself. I'm going to just throw myself into this tackle. Yeah, I've got a yellow card and stand up and the play. And what? This is what I'm saying. Bring everything up. So change the dynamics of the game. Make it into that game where it's going to be a bit more physical. Probably would have suited Burnley as much as it would have suited us. But at least it would have shown that we've got a different way of trying to play. We were doing the same things over and over and over again. And
I do think we're very fickle, though, because you've mentioned that, Sam, and Hotspur is that sort of player, and people don't really want to see Hotspur in the team because technically he's not as good. I think you just have to find a balance, really and truly. I think Hotspur deserves a place in the team, but at the same time, you do need, like Deji said, you do need somebody to just basically throw their body on the line when you need it. But at the same time, there are plenty players in this league who can do that and also are very technically good. So it's not necessarily just about bringing in somebody who wants to throw their body on the line. Like you said, Neves, Ward-Prowse, and Gallagher are 3 quality players that will all do that. So it's just about scouting the right players, really. True.
So what the problem we've got is we've got 2 players in midfield. And when you've got 2 players in midfield, you need them to have the quality of 3 players. And what I mean by that, you need them to be able to play a defensive. You need them to be able to play box to box. You need them to be able to play through the balls. You need to be able to run with the ball all the way. So when you play 2, the players have to have more ability because there's only 2 of them. Benton Kerr showed me that he's got enough of that to be able to do all 3 of those things. Seen his touch, I've seen the way he runs the ball, I've seen his energy. Hotspur lacks certain things. But if you play Hotspur in a 3 and you play him in that position just behind, perfect, because you can drop into the back 3, let the others. When you're playing them in the 2 and then you bring on another player, and I'm going to use Winks as the example, who hasn't got those qualities, there's no way that Hotspur is going to run the show. There's no way that Winks is going to run the show. So if you've only got 2, who's going to do it? Midfield is so important when it comes to football and gaining the momentum. It's so key. And then when Burnley just blocked the midfield up, I don't remember who was in their midfield this evening. Who was their main 2 in midfield or 3 in midfield?
Was it Josh Brownhill?
Exactly. You don't know, do you? You don't know who it was because it didn't matter. All they did was a job. They just got around our players and stopped them.
Josh Brownhill, I used to watch at Preston North End when he was at Preston North End, yeah? And he's gone to Burnley. And he made our midfield look like a bunch of whatever, mate, because he showed desire, heart, and grit. Yeah, and this is a guy who's come from Preston North End, lower league, and he's doing bits for Burnley. That's what the kind of players. That's what we need. Players like that with that kind of heart and ability, and they're gonna go through fences. You know what I mean?
I agree. In certain games, you're 100%. Tonight's game doesn't require players to have the most technical, gifted player in the world. You don't need to have those technical, like a Tango Nombele. He's not cut out for this type of game. But his ability in terms of finding them threaded ball is. But heart, desire, that sort of throwing yourself, probably not. You need more of them tonight than you do technical players. But Sean, I'm just going to come to these stats here. So looking at 1-0, obviously, to Burnley. Brownhill with the assist after 71 minutes, me scoring that headed goal. 34% possession. It felt like they had more than that. So 34% possession to Burnley, 66 to us. 15 shots. So with their 34% possession, this is again 50. They still had 15 shots. Mm-hmm. You know, with 34% possession, you don't expect them to have as many shots as that because we didn't have that many shots against City and we had around about the similar type of possession. So what is it? Where are they getting opportunities to get into us? is because our midfield, in the midfield area. And also, we're not stopping crosses. So they're getting opportunities to cross the ball. So that's just one thing. 15 shots to our 12. Shots on target 4. Shots on target for us today 2. 2 shots on target when you've got a low blocking team doesn't make sense. Are we not shooting from distance? Are we not doing any of that sort of stuff? What's happening? Why are we only get 2 shots on target?
I'm surprised that the stats are that low. I do seem to see a lot of block shots, long shots particularly in the second half. But you're right. It's ridiculous when you have that possession. You should be creating chances, and we weren't creating chances. And I think going back, bringing the conversation back to the wing backs, Darius is so right that Conte's system requires quality in those positions. But it's also about mixing up what you deliver. And tonight is a night for low, hard crosses. The number of times we tossed it up high to 2 6-foot-plus defenders. This is where there was classic example was Emerson in the first half. He had a chance to cross low and hard, and he dallied, and in the end, it came to nothing.
We lost the ball.
We need a bit more football smart. I think we don't, as you say, we don't have players with heart. And tonight is a game where you need 70% heart and 30% ability, and we haven't got that in our squad, unfortunately. And
we've got it in our manager.
Deji's absolutely right.
But Deji, so thanks Sean for that. Deji, if you, in hindsight, and we'll move on to the team because that's probably just look at the starting 11. Start 11, just for those who are listening. Lloris in goal, Romero, Dyer, Davis made up the back 3, Emerson, Sessegnon as the wing backs, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Bentancur has to come for half time, Kulusevski, Kane, Son. Kulusevski went to wing back when Emerson came off, and Sessegnon was the other person that came off. And we had Bergwijn. Did Bergwijn actually play wing back, or did he move Davis to left back? I can't even remember. I wasn't even concentrating at that point.
Watching at that point.
Yeah, I was almost done at that point. But looking at that starting 11, without Skip there, because I think Skip's a very important player when he does come back. What would you change about that? With the players that were available? If you
you know what, and I knew this was coming from some of the comments that have been made. For me, first and foremost, I think you got to start Lucas Moura. I think Cooley is definitely a better player, but on a wet, windy night in Burnley, I think you got to go with someone who's tried and trusted and knows what it takes in the Premier League. And then I think you rest Ben Davis and you stick a Rodon in there, because let's be real, they had 15 shots, but it weren't. I didn't feel at any point that we felt under pressure. We were in control. Yeah, we were in control of the game. So you could have tried a Rodon, because this is all about in the air football. So you need your best headers of the ball to be on the pitch. And one thing I can say about Rodon is he's actually a good header of the ball. That's the type of person that you want in the box, getting the ball out. That, for me, would have been okay. I think there's potentially a shout. I think Cesc had an all right game. Why isn't Reguilon playing? But for me, definitely, you start Lucas Moura. There were too many. You said it as well, Sam, at the beginning. When they're playing a low block, the way that they're playing a low block, what you need is a disruptor. Yeah? Technology is all about disruption. And you need someone to get on the ball, do something wild. It don't matter if his head's come off. Let's see what he does. Let's see if he gets a free kick in the box. Kulusevski, he's very nice. Even when he scored against Man City, he didn't even realise he scored. You know them ones there. So I can't be dealing with people who don't know when they've scored or not. I don't think he celebrated at all, but that's another game. So you need a Moura in there, and I think Rodon should have been on the pitch. I know it was Romero's side, but I just think if he was there, it probably doesn't happen. And it's easy for me to say. But for me, I wanted to see players who know the game, who understand the culture. They've only been there 2 weeks, for crying out loud. So I was surprised they started. I'm being honest. I think Bentancur is a class act, but I was surprised to see him start. But looking at that bench, yeah, there's not really much you can do. That bench, there's none of them. I wouldn't bring anyone up. I wouldn't bring any of them on.
No. Just going back to the goal, I'm just thinking about it again. That right hand side, in that area where Romero is, that was a free kick. It wasn't from open play, so it was a free kick. I'm not quite sure where was Emerson. So I'll have to look back at this because there should have been more players. You've got your dangerous players because me always gets his head on the ball.
Emerson was off the field, Sam.
Was he off the field at the time?
Yeah, he was off. He was off. Yeah, he was off.
Okay, so again, Romero shouldn't. I want to see more than one player on Ben Mee. You know, because he's a threat. Romero's not the biggest player in the world, but he's obviously very aggressive. So you do little things. There's little things you can do, little cute things. You know what I mean? Just stop him from getting up, making that header. You know, disrupt him. Whatever you need to do, get 2v1s. You know, back into him, step on his toes. Too nice, as you were saying. We're too nice. You know what I mean? Too nice with players. And as I said,
and then as a standard for me, if I'm in the defense, every time we've got a free kick coming in, I'd have just been shouting out, "Look at me, yeah, look at me," and then that's it, sorted, job done. But you know, Romero, you can just see from his positioning, he just mistimed the jump. Me had the run up. He was in a standing position. It's really unfortunate, to be honest. It's really, really unfortunate. But that's the Premier League. Those are the margins. But for me, I think Conte got it wrong. You know, I love Conte, but I just think he should have started Mora and brought on Kulo, not the other way, other way around. And I think if Mora starts, I think that stuff with his miscontrol, that doesn't happen. I mean, that was his first touch. I mean, the man hadn't even had a warm-up, you know what I mean? But I just think that doesn't happen, man. And we just didn't, we lacked it. It was Kane doing it by himself, you know, Celine Dion, but you know what I mean? It was that.
Conte's put out a statement. In the last 5 games, we lost 4. That is the reality. No one deserved this type of situation, but this is reality. I came in to try and improve the situation. Maybe in this moment, I am not so good to improve the situation. That's his statement.
And that's not what you want your manager to be saying after the highs of Saturday.
That's alarming.
That's
alarming. When he's saying maybe I'm not the person to improve.
Exactly.
He's starting to doubt himself. My God, I would never have thought that of Antonio.
He's sounding like me right now.
But you know what?
Sorry, go on, Sid.
No, I was going to say, I don't think any manager would be coming in thinking that they can improve what he's got. He's tried his best, and that January window was massive, like we all said, and he's now probably realizing, game after game, he's realizing, boy, his job is big.
I'm shaking with a little bit of frustration here because, as I said, we don't have to have the best players. You don't have to have the best players in the world to be effective at football. Look what happened to us in games against Wolves, Southampton, Crystal Palace, today's game against Burnley. The list goes on. Players that have got desire, heart, a plan, want to stick to the plan, want to stick and work to the plan for everybody else in their team, want to work together, want to work for the manager. That's what you need. Burnley, this is what I said. When Burnley were in 20th place, I said, don't worry about Burnley. They're cool. You know why? Because they know what they're doing. All they need to do is get it right. And they keep it very, very simple. We're not going to have a lot of possession. We're going to be effective with our possession. When we get free kicks, we're going to make sure you're under pressure. When we get an opportunity to cross, we're going to put you under pressure. Any other set pieces? That's our strength. So you know what you're going to get with Burnley. And sprinkle into that a little bit of heart, a little bit of determination, and you've got a formula that wins you games in the Premier League when you need to on a cold night, as you said, Deji, Wednesday night up at Turf Moor, when you need to dig out a result after they've already won. Remember, they won 3-0 against Brighton. Do you know what I mean? Away from home. So it wasn't like they had to take the 3 points tonight. It's an extra bonus for them. You know, I think they would have taken a point.
Yeah, my boy goes to me, Dad, Aaron Lennon is taking the biscuit out of Cecilion, and he goes, how can somebody of his age be taking the biscuit out of someone like that? And I said, you know what? Aaron Lennon is a decent player on his day, but when you've got crap wing backs, then it happens. Another thing, right? You're going into the game today, right? If I'm Conte, the first thing I'd be telling my players is, you're going to Turf Moor. It's a Wednesday night. Do not give stupid free kicks and learn how to header the ball. And what did they go and do? Give stupid free kicks away and concede on a corner or on a set piece. The two things that everyone should know. Everybody knows against Burnley, you have to not try and give them any opportunity to put a cross in, and you need to learn to defend. And we can't do that. And that it's every team we struggle against when the ball's been crossed in. Every single team. It's not just Burnley. With every week, and you watch at the weekend as well.
No. I'm sorry. If we can't look, this is right. I'm going to be real with you now. I'm going to be real. If we don't beat them, because Bielsa, I think Bielsa's got learning difficulties. I'm being honest, because this guy don't learn. He don't want to change his way, so he must be autistic. He must be, because he ain't changing the way he's playing for nobody. They already played Liverpool tonight, never changed their way of playing. What they got? 4-0 beating.
6.
They ain't. Or was it 6?
6-0.
It was 4-0 when I saw it. This is what I'm trying to say. So these guys at Leeds are not changing how they play. So you know what you're going to get: man for man marking, spaces all over the pitch. You'll probably be an ideal for us. So
they're going to beat us
6-0.
I'm telling you, they're going to beat us.
Yeah. Deji, what are you looking forward to? If that's the right phrase, what are you wanting to see? Should I say, come Saturday, 12:30 on Saturday when we kick off against Leeds? Forgetting this debacle that we've had today, what do you want to see him do? Given some of the comments that Conte's now saying, which is looking like this guy's even like trying to wiggle, what can I do? But what would you want to see?
Look, obviously everybody wants to see a reaction. I think Leeds is probably the perfect game only because they're the only team as dumb enough to go full pelt and attack Spurs. And I think we seem to do best when where another team has more of the ball. We can't be the ones controlling possession. I would like a reaction, but for me, I'm at a point where I'm like Conte. I think it doesn't matter. Even if we get the 3 points, I think the damage has been done. For me, I wanted to see us in the top 4. Anything less for me was a disaster. Conte came in at the right time. We had enough time. We had enough games in hand to put on and mount a top 4 push. That has been eroded in the last month. So for me, what I would like to see is the season finished, please. I would like to see the season done and for us to look forward to the World Cup. That's it, mate. That's it. I don't think it matters now. Unless Spurs can win 8 games on the trot, I don't give a shit.
Well, I'll show you the league. I'll show you the league table.
Can we win 4 games and win the FA Cup?
I don't know. We're so inconsistent, though, Sean. That's the problem. So we can probably beat Middlesbrough, but then the next round, depending on who we get,
guys,
the performance won't be there.
Guys, I was going to say a couple of weeks ago, everybody was going on about how many games we had over Arsenal and how many points, whatever. Look at it now. They've played one less than us.
This is what I'm saying. So the league table, let's forget the top 3. Let's forget the Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea.
The table never lies.
Let's concentrate on 4th downwards. So Manchester City played 26, now on 46 points. West Ham played 26 on 42 points. Arsenal played 23 on 42 points. Wolves played 24, 40 points. And all those games we had over Wolves and Arsenal, we've now played 24. We're 1 point behind Wolves and 3 points behind Arsenal, and obviously they play Wolves tomorrow. That's our only benefit.
Damn, they used to say you needed 40 points to avoid being relegated. You haven't even reached that yet.
Oh, you got to laugh at this. You got to laugh at being a Spurs fan. Why do we do it to ourselves? No, but in all seriousness, tomorrow's game, that's a bonus for us. Had we taken 3 points tonight, would have been even better, because one of them 2 are going to drop points tomorrow, if not both of them. But we can't. We're not even taking advantage of that. That's criminal.
You see, you know what? A couple of weeks ago, I said to everyone, I don't want the games in hand. I'll take the points, because points are more important than having games in hand. And this is a prime example. We had 4 games in hand, and we've blown them, and we're in a worse situation than we were when we had not had the 4 games in hand. So games is nothing, mate. I'd rather have the points, And I'll tell you something, Sam. Honestly, I would not be surprised if Leeds actually come out and no, I'm telling you, because these guys now have to go back.
The Leeds that have shipped 6 at Liverpool tonight, by the way.
Yeah, but listen, it's Dr. Tottenham, isn't it? And Leeds are at home.
Absolutely.
It's Leeds are at home.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just putting the context out there.
I know. I know.
I'm shaking my head. I'm not even going to listen. I'm going to sit with me, la, 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 with fingers and ears, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear. Because if we lose to them lot, because the way that Leeds play is you can watch a video, but you can watch the same video from last season. You can watch any game that they play. It's exactly the same. Just change the personnel. They don't change. They don't change.
Will they not be watching Tottenham and say, look, exactly the same way Tottenham play, week in, week out? You see what I mean? Because we don't change. This is the problem. We're not changing. And I'm sure they'll have something. Rafinha will probably have a field day, mate. Honestly, I'm just not. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Was there any bright points in the? Well, let me go around and let me ask Sean first. Was there any bright spots in tonight's performance for you? Let's look for the positives.
We only lost by 1 goal. I mean, honestly, it's really. I mean, it's really difficult. I mean, no, I can't. I mean, there's nothing positive you can say about that. You know, I mean, it's just. It's just.
It's hard, isn't it? It's so difficult. It's so difficult. Because, as I said, I'm sorry, whilst you're thinking, because if we'd have lost tonight and I'd have seen the players, committed, we lost it because we'd lost on a set piece because, at least we tried to did everything. I could accept that, but we were powder puff. We were powder puff.
I mean, Pope only had one really difficult save to make, and it hit him rather than he saved it. The shot from Davis in the second half, and that was it. I mean, there was no. You can't really take anything positive out of there.
I'm going to try the others.
Just dreadful.
I'm going to try to see if the others can find some. Deji, anything positive you can take from the game?
Well, I watched the game live, and if you watch closely, around about the 39th minute when the ball went off for a throw, it looked like someone left their torch on their phone. A little bit like that, yeah. So yeah, that was the bright spark in the game. Round about the 39th minute. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh God. Sid, what did you?
Any positive spots? Yeah, if you look behind the goal at the floodlight on the right, the bulb on the third row was so bright. I'm telling you, it shone like a diamond. But that's about the only spot. But that was about it. But let me just say one thing.
I got it. I got it.
Go on.
The referee blew the final whistle. That was the bright spot because it meant that we could just
right? Okay, I'm going to try to be positive. There was Bentancur up until the point where he got that strain because he wasn't playing for the rest of that first half. After he made that lunge slip, whatever, you could see he wasn't moving right, and that really made a big. And it's really that's the telling thing for us to say that player again who's just come into this league. Look like a player that we're now going to miss if he's injured. We need someone like Skip back because if that midfield contains Hotspur and Winks for the next game, I am concerned. I'm not concerned about how Leeds are going to play because I know how they're going to play, but I'm concerned that we haven't got enough ball progression, enough legs in there to outrun Leeds because that's one thing I will say about Leeds. Oh. They will run, and they will run. That's what he gets out of them because. They just don't have that ability and because teams have worked out how to play against them, they can run and run and run. You just play around them. If you're quick with the passing, you get the ball. You don't have too many touches, like what we did against City. 1 and 2 touches, playing the ball. You'll destroy Leeds because they're not going to change. But if you have things like balls bouncing off shins, or players scared to receive the ball, or players receiving the ball in a bad way with back to goal and then not knowing if someone is behind them or whatever, and no communication. If you haven't got the ability to beat that man with the first, who's going to be on you to press first, because that's what they'll do, man to man. You beat your first press, then you're in acres of space. If they play right, you can then beat your man and run with the ball. Because if everybody else has a man marker, they will have to leave their player to then come to you, and then you find your players. But I don't trust our player. I trust Conte to get it right tactically, but I don't trust our players if we don't have certain players playing. That's our problem. We're gonna have.
I mean, there were examples in the first half where we did break their press and we did get forward, but you know, the final ball was you know, the final ball was dreadful. So
yeah. Right then, come round to all of you. Start with you, Sid, then round to you, Deji, and then you just finally, Sean. Final thoughts on the game. What you're looking forward to for the game on Saturday.
Right, final thoughts on the game. I did say we wouldn't get anything at Burnley, and I was proved right because nobody likes going to Turf Moor on a Wednesday night, especially when it's windy, rainy, and especially Spurs. Going on to the weekend, I'm not optimistic, to be fair. They've just had 2 batterings against Man United and Liverpool, and you know that Dr. Tottenham is going to turn up. One final note, guys. We put a Twitter poll out, and we've put it out on Paxton Road on the YouTube channel. And we asked you, right, we've had about 150 votes. We've got 2 days left. At the moment, the 3 options were to finish 10th and win the FA Cup, or finish 5th or 6th, or finish 4th. 61% so far would take 10th and an FA Cup, and 37% would take 4th. Now, after beating City, after losing today, get on there and put your polls in. Would you now take 10th and the FA Cup? Because that looks like the only possible option.
I don't want us to get 4th. At this moment in time, our inconsistency, I don't want us to get 4th because we will need to have some serious luck in the Champions League next season, along with the players as well. But I'd want to win something. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to win. Callum is saying, sing us a song, Sid. They're taking the piss. Deji, final thoughts.
Yeah, look, it was we were brought back down to earth. And I think for me, you know, often on this show, you know, I'm one of the ones who's quite optimistic. You know, I haven't even put any financial advice out today because that's how demoralized I am. Tottenham is not good enough. Conte is even saying that he's even unsure of himself. I'm not so sure that this is the team that I love. This is definitely not the team that I love. And I think for me, tonight, the season's done, okay? So I'll be looking forward to the NBA and seeing what games are later on tonight or later on this week. But in terms of Spurs' season, it's over. I think, Sid, the mere fact that we've got more votes for finishing 10th with the FA Cup is a damning indictment of where Spurs have gone. We used to be Champions League team, and now we are literally happy with scraps. If you're happy with 10th and the FA Cup, then we might as well get relegated into League 2, in my view, because that's utter bullshit. And that's not.
I'll take it, Deji. No, Deji, I'll take 10th for the FA Cup.
I'll take that's rubbish.
Deji,
that's rubbish.
I'll take 16th in the FA Cup.
Deji,
it's the current climate and the current situation.
It's because of this.
I need to see us win a trophy.
I want to see us lift some silverware. I would take staying in the division and winning the FA.
I can take some silver spoons to the stadium and get the lads to pick that up if you like. Well, I'm not having that.
Serious. Sid, you know you might have to change that poll. What about if we finish 14th in the FA Cup? Because I'm still voting for that. I'm still voting for 14th in an FA Cup. I'll tell you
Below
that.
10th.
Sean, final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the 10th and FA Cup thing. It's ridiculous that we, who used to run the roost in the FA Cup up until 1991, have been left in the slipstream of those monkeys down the other end of the Seven Sisters Road, amongst others. And you know, I think there's a whole generation of young fans. I speak to someone who's 60 years old, so there's a whole lot of young people. I want them to experience winning an FA Cup, yeah, and because there's nothing like the day. There's nothing like the day. If you're not got a ticket for the game, you're watching it on the telly. Hopefully, COVID will be more further behind us, and we can watch it in pubs or watch it together or something. We could have a Paxton Road piss up somewhere. and enjoy the day. But I just don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. When you do this and you look away from the camera and you think, there's nothing to say, is there? Absolutely. This is what Spurs do to us. Simply A's, I'm going with this one.
He's right. We should be a Champions League team. We've got a Champions League stadium.
Hey, listen to me. Simply
We've
A's.
not got a Champions League. We've not even got a Europa League squad.
Stop
Let's be clear.
I'm going with this comment here. I will take 17 for an FA Cup. And that's, you don't even have to put an LOL at the end of that one. I'm taking that now. The way that we're playing,
Tony Mack would support that.
I can't see where we're going to get anything from, because this top four race, as much as Candace is saying as well, he's saying, you always used to say a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Well, we ain't got a bush. We ain't even got birds. So no, it just don't matter. I don't care anymore. We will be Conte-less at the end of the season if we're not careful, and he keeps getting exasperated like he is. Where was our main man, King Kane? 17 dispossessed, 1 key pass. The highs to the low. Birkinshaw still gave me the better days. Man's is going back to Keith Birkinshaw. That is how far we have to go back. 80-something.
1984, he left.
84. Beat Keith Birkinshaw. And
after winning the UEFA Cup.
Oh, God, my head's hurting me. Right, guys. After thinking, that this was going to come on at least it was going to. I was always going to be tight, but I still thought it was going to get an hour victory. I said 2-1 yesterday, but I did caveat to say we had to score first. I did say if they get lateral free kicks and they get corners and they get crosses in, it's going to be a problem. It so proved to be, but it wasn't. And this is what I'm saying. If we all knew that, surely, we do everything we can to protect ourselves from that, but we don't. We are Spurs. We are Dr. Tottenham, and we have to have this roller coaster. We keep on this roller coaster rise, as Deji said last season, famously. Buckle up, strap in. Under Jose, we had to do that. We seem to have to strap in, buckle up under all managers, regardless of what.
The ride's just got faster.
We've just gone from a kids' baby roller coaster to the biggest one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, mate, and we're on it now. We're on it.
Quick question, then. I'm going to ask a quick question. It's a yes or no answer. Top four still on, Sid?
No.
Deji?
Is temp still on?
Deji, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, man. Yes or no? Man. I'm assuming that's going to be a no to that one. It's a no from you, then.
Yes.
For me, we haven't been in the hunt for top four for weeks. I've just been.
Yeah, it was just false.
It was just fluff.
Yeah, of course it was.
There's more fluff in my belly button than there was in our top.
It was like it was like West Ham's dreams that keep fading away.
Yeah, as I said, my thoughts are, because there's what, Man United, Arsenal, West Ham, Wolves, and us all in this race. There's 4 or 5 teams in there. There's not going to be, all of them are not going to have bad times. So someone, because we're not up and above Man United, the game's in. I forget that. I don't think we're going to get top 4. I think we could be good enough for top 6. Do we want to have top 6? Top 6 and no trophy? Not for me this season. I don't want to see
Answer
that
the
game.
question, yes or no?
No, we're not getting top 4. However, again, I'm going to caveat that to say, I would hope now we can just try to, as Arsenal have done previously, just concentrate on the FA Cup. I know it's just people say it's just the FA Cup, but what do you mean it's just the FA Cup? Man United want to win it. Manchester City always want to win it. Liverpool always want to win the FA Cup. Arsenal always want to win the FA Cup. We shouldn't.
I was jealous as hell of Leicester City dancing around with the cup last year.
Exactly. When they had the FA Cup, do you think they're bothered? Do you know what I mean? They're going to be in the division. They've got it. Even if they don't make Europe this season, they're not going down. They've still got a league and an FA Cup to say, well, we've had that in the last 8 years, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it's been. Oh, man.
I mean, my suggestion, just lastly, is, look, really and truly, what I'd like to see is for us to get one more win and then play the rest of the season with our under 23.
Yeah, get to 40 points. Get to 40 points, Deji. That's what I like to see. Get to 40 points. And we can put relegation to bed.
Yeah, one more win.
And then just play the big boys again in the matches. Middlesbrough, Chelsea, Man City, whoever it is.
The thing is, we've not even. I'm not being funny, but we've not even got too many of the big boys left. We've got to play Do we have to play Liverpool again? We played them
You have
twice.
to play Liverpool. We have to
Yeah,
play
play
Man United.
We'll play
We're
Arsenal
playing
and Man United.
Arsenal.
And Man U.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Man U. And then that's
Yeah.
that's all of the top 6 or whatever.
But do you know what the problem is? And I'll quote what my wife said. You will beat the likes of Cities, Liverpools, and teams like that, but you're going to end up losing to the teams that are below you. And that is the problem. The Man Uniteds, the Liverpools, Arsenals, we could end up beating them. But it's the teams that are going to be below, or should we say near us, that we got to beat.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we've done enough therapy today. There was a post.
Can I make a special request? Can we have
Yeah.
a special show calling on all financial investors? A special show where we get, people from the US, United, UAE, and the Far East. If we can just invite them on there and let's let them put a bid in. I think we can be Spurs for £1 billion or less at this rate. But I just can't take it. All right. The only way to save our club is a takeover. Not under this. And can we just
let's do a GoFundMe page, man. Let's do a GoFundMe.
Let's do a special shout out and see how much money we can raise.
Can we get 3 billion on a GoFundMe?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Facts. Paxton Rose should start a GoFundMe page for 3 billion. We'll put that in there.
Put it up to Daniel and say, look, here's the 3 billion. Now fuck off.
The road to 3 billion. Yeah, right. Okay. It's not funny, is it? It really isn't funny, but we have to laugh. But no, in all seriousness, we're going to have to do a show where we, I think we'll put something out. We'll put like a link in and just get some viewers to kind of come on the stream. Like I said, we'll try and put people through. We're going to have to think about that. But, I know what it's like. Depending on when we win or if we don't win, it's a roller coaster with Spurs. So you can never know what that show's going to be like. But we're always here, guys and girls. We're always here. So make sure you smash that like button. Hit that like button now. You might not want to share this content with anybody else. Well, do it for us. Do it for Paxton Road. Do it for Paxton.
Sam, actually, you know what? That's a great idea because everyone's so pissed off. If you want someone to smash that like button.
Smash the like button. Oh, what else can we say? Look out for.
We broke a world-class manager in 4 months. Oh my God.
I know.
Oh God.
Look out for talking points tomorrow at 8 p.m. We're going to be doing is there a media agenda against Spurs? I just think we've got our own agendas. We don't even need the media agenda. We've got our own fucking agendas to deal with. Friday, Friday, Sid. Is that on Friday?
Yes, Sid, whatever you want. Everyone's got lots of questions to ask. So come on, put them all in, get them all in, because there's loads of questions people want to ask.
Yeah, we'll have the Leeds
more questions and answers.
Yeah, we'll have Leeds preview sometime on Friday. Probably do it in the daytime because, like I said, the game's kicking off at 12:30 on Saturday. Look forward to the reaction show for the game on Saturday, and then Judge Jody, who will probably be doing the roundup for both this game and the game on Saturday as well, probably Sunday or Monday. So we've got plenty of things to come. If you enjoy the therapy, come and join us. Stay with us. You know what I mean? It's helpful. We've all got a chair. I've got a nice, comfortable recliner here. I sometimes just do that. You just do that and sit back and just rub your hands because you can't do anything else. You can't do anything else. You just got to go with the flow. What's this? Colin Z is saying an African billionaire has tried to buy the club twice in the last 2 years, and some other guy have come being interested lately. But Levy's looking for the Super Bowl. He's looking for a Super Bowl worth of money as well.
Have you heard the rumor today? Apparently, they're trying to take the Champions League final away from Russia, and guess who's in pole position to host it?
Spurs, isn't it? Is it us?
San Siro, I thought.
I mean, right now,
Spurs and Wembley.
I would sell our club to Lidl, mate, or Aldi.
The Aldi Stadium, that'd be good.
Yeah, I don't give a damn.
As long as they have a supermarket there, I can do shopping.
No, forget Aldi, forget Little. You got to sell it to Tesco. You know why? Because every little helps.
Yeah, it's true. Isn't it? Every little helps, mate. And then throw in some fruit and veg. Come on.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
They play like Barrow boys, these players do sometimes. Anyway, they really bloody do. Yeah. Like odd jobsmen. Do you know what I mean? I just can't take the high from Saturday from seeing some quality passages of play to tonight. We had a few little spurts, but we were never really battering their door down tonight. So again, Let's go. Therapy session over. Thank you very much, Sid. Thank you, as always, Deji. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
We do this to ourselves, but the roller coaster continues. Buckle up, people. There's still much more of this driving to go. There's much more of the ups and downs. So put your seatbelt in. Clunk, click, as they say. Deji will be back for some more financial advice at some point. Do you know where to put your money? Don't put it too much on Spurs to win anything other than, plaudits. We might win some plaudits this season. That's what we might win. What?
Do you remember the film Passenger 57?
Yeah,
With Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
What's the catchphrase in there? We got to change that because it's not always bet on black. It's always bet against Spurs.
Yeah, bet against Spurs, mate. Bet against us.
I'm telling you.
What a sad day.
I'm telling you.
Sad day. Last comment here from Simply Ace. We are in reverse gear. Laugh out loud. It feels that way. We're just in. You know what it is? When the car's not in gear and you're pressing the accelerator. That's what we're like. You know, that's Spurs. The fucking thing's not in gear. Put it in gear first, then you might be able to drive. Fuck! I'm so pissed off again. Why do you have to? Time to go. Right then, Deji, Sid, Sean, I'm going now. Take care, guys. See you at the weekend.
Care.